All right, so we've been talking about disciple making the last, I think maybe 8 or 10 weeks. And so we've said the last 3 weeks, there are three components to disciple making. Number one, a disciple is a learner. Number two, a disciple is a follower. And number three, a disciple is a reproducer. So basically, I've been doing most of the talking these last months on the Red Glasses Talks. But I brought a crazy guy in today, actually one of my dear friends, John Gillespie. And John has an amazing background, and we're not going to get into all that today other than just trust me, he's an amazing guy and a wonderful person, but he's got a lot to say to us in terms of this whole area of disciple making. So I'm going to ask him a couple questions. He's just going to respond, and we'll kind of go back and forth for a couple minutes, and we'll see how it goes. But John, as you think about Matthew 28 and where Jesus said, in verse 19, go and make disciples, and I like to add on to that, make disciples who make disciples who make disciples. When you think about that, just what are some of the key things that fall into your thinking as you ponder that?
The key thing to me is to be a reproducer. And that's where a lot of us fall short. Someone shares Christ with us, we become a Christian, we start our walk with Christ, but we don't ever lead someone else through the reproduction process, which is really generational. You know, it's sharing with someone else, and I know that because men discipled me. Not just mentored, but discipled, truly led me through the Word so that I would get it and then go on and reproduce
and see, that's
what
the part,
they had done in me.
Yeah, see, that's the part that's key that I keep saying that's missing. You can have somebody meet with you and pour their life into you and the faith into you and the Scripture into you, but if they don't do it in such a way that you're motivated and prepared and committed to then go reproduce that, then the disciple making process has not been a complete cycle.
That's right. And a lot of times if you don't do it, it just creates orphans.
Yeah. So why are you involved in this whole thing of making disciples who make disciples, personally?
Well, it's because it's mandated by Christ. You either are going to be involved or you're not. And so I learned from a lot of great men and watched them and followed them, and they were all reproducers. And so I found the mechanism and the 4 priorities makes it a lot easier for me to pour into the life of another man.
How does this whole involvement you have with other guys in discipling them to disciple others, how does this benefit you personally?
Well, you can't help. It makes my faith and my walk with the Lord more intimate, because you can't spend time and sow into another man without it affecting you. It's as much for me as it is for them.
I find that true too.
Yeah.
So
I'm the one blessed.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So how would you challenge those people listening to this little Red Glasses today? How would you challenge them in terms of this whole area of making disciples who make disciples?
Get in the game.
Get in the game. Well, let me ask you right now. Here it is. Are you in the game? You think about that.